السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، مساكم الله بالخير. الجينيين حمض الدي ان ايه، طبعا المقطع القادم يتكون من 3 أجزاء. الجزء الأول هي محادثتي مع الأخ الأنصاري المغربي المتجنس كندي، والذي أوضح لنا معلومات خيالية ليلة البارح وكانت مسجلة في المساحة. القسم الثاني هو ترجمة الأستاذ حسام السريحي لمقطع من نوادر المقاطع العالمية، وهذا المقطع ينقسم إلى قسمين. ستسمعون ترجمة الأستاذ حسام السريحي ملخص بسيط، ثم استعرضوا لمن يملك لغة، استعرضوا بقية المقطع، ولكن ملخصها بشكل عام: الدي ان ايه علم لا يثبت نسب، والعرقية اللي يثبتها بناء على داتا بيز مسبقة مدخلة، والخمس الشركات العالمية هي 5 شركات ثابتة. الدي ان ايه لا يعطيك لا نسب، وكل هذا ضحك على الدقون، كله ابتزازات مالية ومادية. اصحوا أيها المجتمع السعودي خصوصا، والذي نفسي بيده، أن تحليل الدي ان ايه في النسب لا عرقية ولا نسبية غير صحيح البت. انتظروا المقطع بعد قليل، المقطع المترجم من الأستاذ حسام السريحي، ثم انتظروا مقطعي، ثم في آخر المقطع ستجدون المقطع الكبير، المقطع الكندي للبنتين التوأمين من نوادر توائم العالم، واللتان اختلفتا في حمض الدي ان ايه، كل واحدة طلعت من ديرة. لو الحمض الدي ان ايه يثبت النسب لما اختلفت 2 توأمان من نوادر التوائم في العالم. عبد الله الحسين لا يتحدث عبثا. تحياتي لكم. لكل هبد الجيني وكذب الجينات، هذا الكذب سيتوقف إن شاء الله. تحياتي لكم. ببقى قليلا حتى أسمع أخوي الأنصاري ثم أخوي فارس، وبعدين سأغلق بس هذول الاثنين عشان ما نتجاهل الرجال. هلا بالأخ الأنصاري، حياك.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، حياك الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
أنا فقط
وبركاته. عرفنا بك يا الأخ.
الأنصاري من المغرب، أعيش يعني في كندا، يعني مهندس في النانو تكنولوجي. فقط إضافة بسيطة يعني الكلام الأخ. حاليا العلم الجينات يعني بالصفة الحالية يعني تقريبا يحتاج تقريبا 30 أو 40 سنة من الأبحاث، لأنه حاليا العلم نسبي، وكل علماء يعني نتكلم عن علماء الجينات، يعني المقالات اللي عندهم، حيث أن أي مقالة علمية، المشكل يعني الأشخاص العاديين ما بيعرفوا أن أي مقال علمي عنده واحد تنقيط عالمي، أكاديمي عنده واحد تنقيط عالمي، وأي باحث عنده واحد تنقيط. ليس كل ما ينشر من الدراسات والأوراق البحثية يعني أنه الحقيقة المطلقة. المشكل الناس أن أصبحوا يعبدون شيء اسمه العلم، يعني أي شيء ينشر التايتل ديال العلم تعني اوتوماتيكلي الحقيقة. هذا ليس الواقع. الواقع مختلف تماما. يعني الدراسات، كاين دراسات تؤخذ، كاين دراسات لا تؤخذ، عندها تنقيط. كل الباحثين عندهم تنقيط في العالم، كاين اللي مجتهد، كاين اللي البحوث لا قيمة لها علميا. وخصوصا بالنسبة لعلم الجينات، علم ما زال ظني، وفي القيل والقال الكثير من يعني الكثير من ما يقال فيه. كنت سيرت واحد البرنامج في كندا، كان أختين توأمين عملوا تيست للحمض النووي، طلعوا نتيجتين مختلفتين. يعني سبحان الله، توأمين، يعني توأمان، يعني من الضروري أن يطلعوا نفس الشخص، نفس التحليل. طلعوا التحليل كان مختلفين تماما، وكل شركة تعطي تحليل مختلف عن الأخت. يعني العلماء حاروا، يعني ما فهموا ليش يعني طلعت التحاليل مختلفة، مع أنهم يعني توأم، يعني 100%.
هذه عظيمة جدا أخوي الأنصاري. أتمنى أن تعيدها مرة أخرى، لأنني سأقتطعها في التسجيل، وتسمح لي بأني أنشرها. الله يحفظك.
ما في مشكلة. يعني أنا بالنسبة لي سأرسل لك الفيديو ديال البرنامج في كندا، يعني باش لتثبيت العلم الجينات. يعني أختين توأمين، يعني أودونتيك، يعني 100% توأمين. يعني الشركات أعطت نتائج مختلفة للتوأمين. يعني لو ذهبوا عند العلماء الجينات ما قدروا يفسروا النتائج، لأن النتائج غير منطقية، بصفة خيالية. وسوف أرسل لك الفيديو ديال البرنامج. يعني والعلم الجينات حاليا ليس علم قطعي، لأن يعني حيث أنه هو مبني على نظريات، والنظريات مبنية على الرفات، وكل مرة في شيء جديد. يعني كل رفات يخرج جديد يقلب علم الجينات رأسا على عقب. وجميع العلماء متفقين أن العلم الجينات لا يحدد لا عرقك ولا أصلك، هذه كلها متفقين عليها. أنا أتكلم عن العلماء، عن الخبراء، وليس عن السفهاء. خلاصة القول، حيث أن كشفت في مساحات جينية أغلبية الناس يطلقون على أنفسهم أسماء باحثين ولا يعرفون أبجديات علم الجينات. أما العلماء خصوصا أخصائيين في علم الجينات يثبتون أنه علم ما زال في الكثير مما يقال، وليس علم ثابت، يعني متغير. كل رفات يعني يكتشف جديد رفات، الدراسات تعاد من جديد، الفرضيات تعاد من جديد. يعني ليس علم ثابت ولا يحدد العلم. خلاصة القول.
حياك وبياك. إذا نعيد مرة أخرى، وأنت بترسل لي المقطع يا أخويا.
ضروري سأرسل لك المقطع إن شاء الله.
طيب، إذا نعيد ونقول أن هنالك أختان توأمان، والتوأم نعرف أنهم يعني استحالة نسبة الاختلاف تحدث فيهم، استحالة امبسيبل، يعني مستحيل 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 على وجه الإطلاق أن يكون اثنين توأم يظهر كل واحد بأب مختلف. هذه من المستحيلات السبع كما يقولون. أثبت لنا أخونا الأنصاري وسيرسل لي الفيديو بأن هنالك أختان ظهرتا في التحاليل، كل منهما ينتمي إلى تحليل أو إلى جذم آخر أو إلى قبيلة أخرى أو إلى أرومة أخرى. يعني معناته أنه هذا فيه نوع كبير جدا من الشك. هنالك العلماء زي ما قال حيرتهم هذه النتيجة، أظهرت أمر غير مفهوم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أستاذ عبد الله، بالنسبة للمقطع يتكلم في بدايته عن تحليل الدي ان اي اصلا وهل هو دقيق او لا. طبعا مجمعين العلماء تقريبا انه هذا التحليل غير دقيق، ما يعطي اي معلومات دقيقة عن العرق. هو يعتمد على قاعدة البيانات اللي موجودة عندهم من الناس اللي حللوا من قبل. يعني لو يجي الان احد يبي ينشئ شركة لتحليل الدي ان اي ما راح يقدر، لانه ما عنده داتا بيس، يعني قاعدة بيانات موجودة عنده لتحاليل ناس سابقين، لأنه يعتمد عليها 100%. هو يقارنها بتحاليل الناس السابقين. طبعا هذا في بداية المقطع. الجزء الثاني يتكلم عن البنتين هذولي identical twin، يعني هم توأم متطابق تماما، وهذا من النوادر انه يكون في توأم متطابق تماما. فمن المنطقي انه يكون تحليل الدي ان اي حقهم متطابق، خلينا نقول الى 99%. بس الصدمة في المقطع انه هم سووا تحليل الدي ان اي طلع له متطابق، انه الثنتين كلهم من اوروبا، اوروبيات، وهذا شيء هم اصلا مدخلينه في البيانات اللي هم ادخلوها انه من فين مكانهم. بعدين يتكلم عن البنات راحوا انصدموا من بقية من التفاصيل، واحدة بولندية وواحدة اسكتلندية او بريطانية، فهم انصدموا من التفاصيل بعدين اللي تحت اوروبية فيها اختلاف كبير بين الثنتين. فراحوا العلماء بيولوجيين جلسوا معاهم 5 فريق عالم ومعاه 5 فريق وتكلموا معاهم، وقالوا المفروض العلماء هذول يتكلمون، المفروض انه التحليل حقهم متطابق 100%. المشكلة انه هو سووا تحليل في حوالي 5 شركات، كل واحدة جاها التحليل مختلف. التحليل انهم اوروبيات هذا 100% الثنتين تقريبا، بس الباقي كله فيه اختلاف كبير. فمحصلة هذا المقطع انه تحليل الدي ان اي غير دقيق بتاتا، ويعتمد على البيانات الموجودة عند الشركة. نقطة أخيرة، جابوا مقطع الوحدة برضو في اليوتيوب إنه سوت تحليل في شركة، وبعد فترة رجعت سوت نفس التحليل في شركة. التحليلين طلعت نتائجها مختلفة، لأنه اختلفت قاعدة البيانات، زادت واختلفت اللي موجودة عند الشركة. فهم يعتمدون على الرياضيات بس في مطابقة الدي ان اي بين الأشخاص، مو رفات ناس قديمين مثلا من آلاف السنين حللوها أو مئات السنين وطابقوا عليها، لا، هم قاعدين يطابقون على البيانات اللي موجودة عندهم أصلا من ناس أحياء الآن سووا تحليل الدي ان اي. حفظك الله.
One set of identical twins, 5 DNA ancestry tests.
What? I have French and German.
Oh, I don't have that.
5 different sets of results?
We strongly think that you and your sister should get the same report.
I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I don't think it's entirely accurate.
Want to know more about your heritage? You can't afford to miss this marketplace. I'm on holiday in the Mediterranean.
Tunisia, I think, is that way. And Sicily is that way.
I'm heading back to my roots, or what I think are my roots.
Come si chiama? Giuseppe, driving the boat.
My family hails back to Sicily.
So here we are in beautiful Noto, Buonasera.
Off the tip of Italy. And I have Polish and Ukrainian roots too, or at least that's what my family tells me. So how can I be sure?
I thought I married an Italian.
I found out that I was only 16% Italian.
He was 34% Eastern European.
Judging by marketing like this, DNA tests have the answers.
When I found you in my DNA, I learned where my strength comes from.
Millions of people are buying kits curious about their ancestry.
You can pinpoint specifically?
Companies promise their tests will reveal where you come from, who your people are.
It's really nice to have some kind of a connection to my background.
But just how accurate are they? We're testing 5 companies to find out. Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, MyHeritage DNA, Family Tree DNA, and Living DNA.
Hello. Thank you.
Oh, and there's a twist.
Oh yeah, you have some drool. There you go.
My sister Carly's in on this too. That's her son, Max. And no, you're not seeing double. We're identical twins.
Ooh. All right. Step 1.
Fill the tube with saliva to the black wavy line.
Carly and I are testing 2 things. Will the companies have different breakdowns from each other?
I have way too many bubbles.
And will they have different breakdowns for each of us?
I feel like I'm on Law and Order.
Yeah, CSI.
It's DNA science. We're identical twins, so the results should all be the same, right?
Cheers. Okay. Don't touch it though.
I double check to make sure we're not mixing up our samples.
This is going all the way to Dublin, Ireland, the Netherlands, Concord, Ontario.
And 2 are going to Texas.
I'm shook.
These ancestry kits can change some people's sense of who they are.
11% Scandinavia, which I love.
Now this is crazy because, like I said, it's a big percentage. We are 53% Nigerian. Woo!
My mom is full Chinese and my dad is half Chinese, half we thought was Spanish, but is British. 5% of me is Ashkenazi Jewish. I don't even know what Ashkenazi means.
It's D-Day, or rather, DNA Day, for the Agro Sisters.
All right, so let's get after it.
First up, Ancestry DNA, the biggest in the biz.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
What?
39% Eastern Europe and Russia.
No way.
What is yours?
Did you get the exact same?
Wow, didn't expect that much Eastern Europe. And it gets very specific with Italy.
We did get Sicily.
Greece and Balkans.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Family tree DNA throws us a few surprises.
Wow, I'm 13% Middle Eastern.
And then there's Iberia.
Look, this is neat though. That's Spain, that's Portugal.
Yeah, I never would have guessed.
And get this, according to MyHeritage, we may not even be Italian.
Holy. So 60.7%
Okay, but
Balkan.
click on it.
19% Greek.
Oh my gosh.
Car, 3.4% Italian.
I know, but
it's actually saying you are 3.4% Italian.
So, are we a little bit or a lot Italian? Mostly East European or mostly Balkan? What's up with these results? I'm hoping Simone Gravel can explain.
Hi.
Hello, Dr. Gravel.
Welcome to the lab. Nice to
Thank
meet you.
He is a population geneticist at McGill University in Montreal.
Last time you saw your DNA, I'm guessing it was in a little, tube like this.
I spit in quite a few of those,
That's
yes.
right. So once you send those to the companies, they'll take your saliva, they clean it up, they will break down the cells so they can free the DNA, and then clean the DNA, break it into small pieces, and then they lay it out on one of these chips here.
So if we look at that chip, will my spit on this chip tell me that definitively I am Italian or definitively I'm from wherever?
No. There's a lot of steps that go in between,
Okay.
a lot of statistical interpretation and models,
Okay.
and whose genome your genome is being compared to.
Here's how it works. Our entire DNA is made up of 3 billion parts. Ancestry companies, though, look at less than 1% of those, about 700,000 sections where they know there are slight differences or variants among humans. Then they compare the patterns of your differences to groups of people in their databases. And with the help of math, they try to figure out which groups you most likely belong to.
It's not 100% sure. So statistics tell us in our model what's the best situation. It is a statistical guess.
Yeah.
It's an informed guess, but it's never a 100% sure thing.
Growing up, we were German.
Not a sure thing? That sure isn't the message here.
The big surprise was we're not German at all. 52% of my DNA comes from Scotland and Ireland. So I traded in my lederhosen for a kilt.
So you were shaking your head.
This one drives me nuts, and I saw it all of the time. Whether you want to wear lederhosen or something else is not tied to your DNA.
Okay.
Timothy Caulfield is a health policy professor who studies the ancestry business.
It's an exciting story, right? It's about you, right? And so I get why they're doing it, but is it really what's happening? Can they really be that accurate? I think they're selling something that isn't really supported by the science.
With 23andMe.com, you can find out your percentages of DNA from 31 populations around the world.
What do you think about the messages that are being sent to consumers?
I think it's misleading. These companies are really trying to push the idea that this is scientific, right? They are using scientific language and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science. They can have a little bit of fun with this stuff. Don't take it too seriously, but know that you're just getting some information that is an approximation of how your DNA compares to other people. It's not tracing back your heritage.
Back in Montreal, Gravel agrees.
These specific percentages should not be interpreted as definitive, here's your percentage ancestry from this place. That's not that.
No.
Yeah. The only ones where we can kind of interpret them like this are the continental level.
Really? The most certain thing they can tell you is which continent you're from? And get this, over at Living DNA, in the fine print, the company admits some of its results are guesses.
We highlight the sources of your ancestry which are likely to be present, using our best guess of the exact source. The deeper I go, the more questions I have.
And at 23andMe, their guesswork isn't apparent until we stumble upon this.
Select confidence level. What? Why does it say 50%? Does that mean you're only 50% sure what you told me is right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, or at least 50%.
That seems shocking. Only half sure?
Yeah.
Do you think that most people know that?
No. I would like it if they presented their uncertainties more clearly.
That's right. 50% confidence is 23andMe's default setting. Check out what happens when we switch it to 90%, the most confident setting. 23andMe says we're mostly from somewhere in Europe.
I would not take this as a science has spoken kind of thing.
Forget all my Italian traditions
That's
and
right,
embrace
that's right.
the Balkan in me.
Exactly, right? I would not do that.
This is your marketplace.
DNA ancestry tests. Have you heard of these things?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of deals around New Year's or Christmas, more than half off.
I'm out in the town wondering what people know about DNA ancestry kits that are selling like crazy.
I got it for my mom for fun, just because she's so proud of her Irish heritage.
Cheers. Don't touch it though.
My twin and I are testing 5 top-selling ancestry kits.
Okay.
Oh! And getting different results.
What?
I think they're selling something that isn't really supported by the science.
So you would think the test should be pretty accurate.
Is it not?
I think they must be pretty accurate, or else they wouldn't be like getting all the hype that they do. I'm assuming, at least.
I think they're true. I mean, I would trust them.
We're engineering students, so we think science, we think accuracy.
Yeah.
So personally, I would think the accurate results.
I took 5 tests. So did my sister. What would you expect our results to be?
The same. Identical.
They should be the same.
They identical. Yeah.
Should be identical, right?
Identical.
Now it's time to take the twin test.
A little chubby. That's me. Yeah, because I think that's me. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
At 23andMe, it's a promising start.
Mine says 98.1% European, and yours says 98.2. So we're pretty close. Italian, 37.7.
Ooh, 36.8.
But then we begin growing apart.
I'm only 28% Eastern European on this one.
I'm only 24% Eastern European on this one. This one actually says Poland.
Mine doesn't.
Mine does.
What?
Yeah. Look. Poland possible match.
Poland was not detected on mine. It specifically says not detected.
And it gets weirder.
Okay, this is hilarious though, because look, French and German. What?
Oh, I don't have that.
You don't have that at all?
No.
We're identical twins, but you'd have to wonder with results like these.
I'm 3.8% broadly European.
Well, I'm 12.7.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
How is this possible? In search of answers, I travel to New England, to Yale University, and meet up with Mark Gerstein and his international team of computational biologists. They study DNA and statistics, and they are stunned by our twin results.
I have to say that one really shocked us. I mean, we expected 2 identical twins to have the exact same ancestry, and they should. So the fact that they present different results for you and your sister, I find very mystifying. We thought for sure that the differences had to do with just when one person spit, there was a contaminant in the sample, or.
But then you looked at the raw data, and you're saying
no
you
difference.
checked, and there's no difference.
No difference. It's like it's shockingly similar. It's like it's scarily the same.
The Yale team downloaded and compared our DNA sections from all 5 companies.
The agreement between you and your sister is 99.6%, 99.7% agreement.
23andMe's own data says we're statistically identical. It's the same for the other companies.
So why would Carr be more Eastern European than I would if our DNA is the same?
She's not. I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, there's no, you and your twin sister have the same genetic ancestry. End of day. I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
How can we explain this result?
This must be purely in terms of the analysis that 23andMe does on the data.
23andMe isn't the only company with funny twin differences.
Oh, great. Now you're Scottish and Irish. All right, I give up.
Living DNA is serving up some stumpers, too.
Yours says South Italy, and mine says Tuscany.
I just don't understand how you could have a Tuscany marker and I don't.
I don't know.
You have to come from one region in Italy. You cannot come from Tuscany and from Sicily. It just doesn't work like that.
And that's why your sister comes from England, but you come from Scotland and Ireland.
But not everybody has us that far apart. MyHeritage, the company that says we barely have Italian ancestry, gives us the closest twins results.
So one of the good things about this company is that it's very consistent.
Okay, can we go to Ancestry?
And Ancestry DNA and Family Tree are pretty consistent, too. So if the DNA technology says we're identical twins, why are some companies giving us different ancestry breakdowns?
We spend many hours, we try to understand why they might be different, but we cannot.
I think the clean thing to say is we don't know how they did the calculations, but we strongly think that you and your sister should get the same report. End of day.
When we ask 23andMe and Living DNA about our twin results, they say even tiny variations in our DNA can lead their formulas to give us different estimates. Because remember, while companies all rely on the same DNA science, they have different formulas and different people in their database to determine which population group you belong to. And whatever your results,
11% Scandinavia, which I love.
Don't get too attached because they may change.
There's been some changes. There's been changes in my results. I was 11% Scandinavian on my other test. Where did that 11% go?
It happened to Carly and me too, with Ancestry DNA.
And look though, look.
This was my first result, but it was updated to this when the database and math changed. Check out the differences.
I think that's nuts how much it changed.
The health policy prof knows all about it.
I was once 100% Irish. I do love Guinness an awful lot. But now apparently I'm like 80%.
Your results don't stay the same over time. Often they change as the companies update their databases. The commercials don't mention that. What do you think of that?
They don't mention that, right? And it actually does evolve, which is a really telling point. It shows how imprecise it is, and it also gives you a sense of the way the science actually works.
People hear DNA and they think science, legit, yeah. CSI, Law and Order, everyone going to jail or getting out of jail because of DNA.
You're exactly right. And they're leveraging that excitement, the excitement that comes from the genuine stuff from science, but also the excitement in pop culture to give it this veneer of legitimacy. And I think that's a little misleading.
This is your marketplace. My twin and I have learned that ancestry tests aren't really as advertised.
No, I'm more confused now than I was before we started, and I have more questions than I do answers about who I am, where I'm from, and what this all means.
Look, I don't want to be a grump, and if people find this fun, okay, but do not put too much weight on it.
Yet the industry is booming, thanks to low prices, slick marketing, and our own curiosity.
You can connect more deeply to the places of your past.
The 5 companies in our test say they use rigorous science. They also acknowledge their ethnic breakdowns are statistical estimates. Family Tree DNA says figuring out ethnicity is not clear-cut because it's kind of a science and an art. MyHeritage says its customers understand the results are estimates.
I'm gonna show you a commercial.
Out on the street, do people really know that?
Now that you've seen the advertisements and some of the promises, what do you make about what you're actually getting, what they can tell you?
There's not a shred of doubt that what they're showing you is accurate.
It's an estimate.
Really? It's not accurate?
Estimate, that's what experts tell us. You surprised?
It's like I kind of wanted to do it. I'd like to assume there's a bit more evidence behind it, really go to the DNA.
You think there's some good science behind it?
I'd like to believe that, but like, I don't know.
I'm kind of sad right now. Make a statement on how accurate they are.
Those ads where they have the really small writing at the bottom of the screen, just write it there to say the results may vary, like depending on what test you take.
I would like to see the messaging being more scientifically accurate, right?
If you could recreate them for these companies, what should the messaging be? What should they look like?
Well, you know, I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I think my ads would probably be a little bit boring. You know, push the idea this is recreational science. You know, let's see how your DNA compares to a bunch of other people's DNA.
Okay.
This isn't going to be terribly accurate or precise, but it's going to be fun.
Caulfield says there's a subtle message in some of the marketing that he finds troubling.
Yes, there are biological variations between populations, but there aren't these discrete biological borders. And that's a dangerous message if you think about it in this world where we're worried about nationalism and tribalism. They're saying that there are biological families, and that's scientifically wrong, but also potentially socially problematic.
And here's some science everyone agrees on. We humans share more than 99% of our DNA. We're a lot more alike than we are different. Have you done a DNA test? What did you think of your results? Take our marketplace poll on Facebook.